Hey guys, Chrissy here. I'm super excited because tomorrow I get to go out in Westernport with the snapper whisperer, the snapper queen, and fellow WIRFAB leader Jo Fyfe. And hopefully she's going to get me onto some snapper. The snapper season's really good so far, and so we're going to give it a go. She uses bait, and I'm sure she'll have heaps of stuff to teach me. But of course I can't help myself. I have to use a couple of plastics and experiment when the tide is really, really slack. So, first of all, speaking of tide, I have to really make sure I've got plenty of different weights here, and I've got some pretty heavy stuff, so right down to a ½ an ounce. So we'll give that a go. We've got some jig heads in there, and of course I'm going to try some really, what I've heard, some popular plastics. I've got one of every brand here just to show you, but I've got some paddle tails. I know the new chicken is a popular colour with the snapper, and then I've got some more sort of natural colours. I've got some jerk shads here, some curly tails, there's curly tails there, and some gulps. Different sizes and shapes and profiles, the different colours. We'll give it a go. I'm super excited. We'll keep you posted with how I go. Jo had a plan from the start. You could tell she'd done this a lot. She knew where to go and what to do. She's a really great teacher because she made me do everything myself. We tied a combination of paternoster rigs and running sinker rigs, and used a combination of pilchards and squid rings for bait. Jo taught me how to bait up properly so that the bait didn't spin in the water, and it didn't take her long for her to hook up. You got Jo in action? Much to my excitement, I was next. Unfortunately, we didn't get a lot of action video footage, just because neither of us had a GoPro, and we had to help each other get the fish in. But you get the idea.
This is harder than the tuna.
Yeah.
Because the tuna, you overhead reels, do all the work, and so you just sit there and wind. But this is harder. Right? Oh wow! Oh wow! You see it? Yep.
You can start to hear my enthusiasm as the fish came closer into the boat. I measured it much later, and it was about 60 centimetres. So that's a new PB for me on the snapper, and from now on I'll be trying to beat that record. Then Jo took me to an area about 15 metres deep, and that's when I started playing around with the soft plastics. You can see the perfect hookup in the mouth of the snapper there. I'll run through what I used at the end of this video. Well, that's it. Major boxes ticked today. We got 3 snapper in the end. One being on a soft plastic, which I really, really wanted to do. I know it's difficult to do in Westernport. You have a very small window, but it can be done. So I'm exhausted. I'm covered in fish scales. Thank you so much to Jo Fyfe for taking me out fishing with people who really know what they're doing and who really know a species that you want to target is so valuable. You just learn so much, and you're encouraged to ask questions, and it was just really fantastic. So thank you to Jo for taking me out. You know, check out WIRFAB. There's lots of people there that can give you all the kind of advice that you need, and I'll see you in the next video. Hey guys, it's been a couple of days since being out with Jo Fyfe in Westernport for that snapper, and I thought I'd just add to the end of this video a bit of a rundown of what I used in case you're interested in soft plastics or you want to know more about it. So I'll start with the rod. It's a 3 to 6 kilo atomic arrows. It's about 7 foot, so a little bit long for a boat, but primarily I bought it for bigger flathead, salmon, pinkies, and I had a feeling it would probably be okay on some of the smaller model snapper. I was really wrapped with how it performed. It's got the split butt, so it's nice and light. But the problem is with that is it's not great in a rod holder. So just keep that in mind. They are becoming a little less popular because of that, the split butt. I like it because it's nice and light when I'm land-based, but if you are intending to put it in a rod holder, you might want to find a model with the full butt for a rod holder. So just keep that in mind. I love it though because it was really great flicking around soft plastics, really, really sensitive, nice whippy tip, but then felt really strong in the midsection and the butt section. So it felt really strong when I was on that fish. I felt really secure. Then down to the reel, it's a Shimano Miraval. This is a 3000. From memory, I think the 2500 and the 3000 size in the reel size is the same, but it's got a few extra bearings, I think. Don't quote me on that one. The 3000 model does come with the bigger handle, and I have to admit, when I was fighting that snapper, the bigger handle was really, really handy. It was really, really useful. It felt nice and strong. I had lots of control. I really like the Miravals. I might make a little separate video about them. I'm a bit of a fan of the Miravals. If I was onto a bigger snapper, you'd probably want to upgrade that to maybe a 5 or 6, even a 6000. Size reel, and you'd probably want to upgrade your rod to maybe even a 6 to 10 kilo if we get onto a really big one. I can't remember exactly what I spooled that with, but it's a PE1, so somewhere between the 15-20 pound braid. The diameter is really nice and thin, but it's super strong, so PE1. And on down at the this end, I used about 15 pound about a rod length fluorocarbon leader. This is one I used here. I'm not sponsored by anyone, by the way. I'm just letting you know what I used. 15 pound fluorocarbon, about a rod length, and I've got that tied with just a uni knot and a really strong clip. That clip is apparently meant to withstand about 29 kilos. So that's pretty strong. So much bigger clip than what I usually use for your bread and butter species. Just want to make sure that was nice and strong. So there's the clips there. We fished in about 15 pound when I caught 15 meters when I caught that snapper. And I had to vary the weight and muck around with the weights a little bit. It was a fairly slack tide. So initially I had like a 1/2 an ounce of a jig head there, so nice and big to start with, and I slowly started to drop it down. I thought, oh, the lighter I can go, the better, which means that the lure will sink down nice and slowly and waft down. So I wanted that effect, so I went right down to a 1/4 an ounce. And straight away I was getting hits. On the big business end, the things that did the most damage were these Berkeley Gulp. Berkeley claimed that they are completely biodegradable, which is great. I hope that's true. But these are the two lures that I used. They're pre-scented. You can see they come in their own juices, so they're nice and smelly. They're both Nemesis. That's the sort of the profile name that Berkeley call them. They have a wonderful tail action. The tail, lovely curly tail, as it's wafting down. The snapper just couldn't resist. So there's some 4 inches there and some 5 inches there. I got these ones in the bargain bin for $1. I just saw them BCF one day and said, oh, they'd be all right for snapper, and picked them up for super cheap. These got whacked. I'll put a photo up of one of those lures getting absolutely demolished. And the minute I started throwing them out, I was getting taps and knocks and all kinds of stuff. Jo did tell me about how fish snapper bite the lure or the bait from the top, and I'll show you the photo. There's living proof that that's absolutely the truth. They were smacking it around, and eventually the one I hooked up on was this natural colour, this kind of bait fish colour, and hooked up beautifully in the corner of the mouth. So worked really, really well. So that's what I used. That's not to say other brands won't work or anything like that. Maybe I just happen to have these ones on and it worked really well. They are nice and smelly and scented. That probably has something to do with it maybe. And the tail action I think is really, really cool on these. So that's just personal, experience. I'd love to experiment more, of course, you know me. I'm probably going to get out there and try throwing some more stuff around one day. I had the best fun, and with this setup, I really felt every little nick and tap and bite and all kinds of things. It was really fun to feel all that, and the final whack with that snapper when it hooked up was really, really cool. Yeah. So just a bit of fun. Like I said, I wouldn't trust this setup if I hooked up to something really big. It depends if you're willing to take the risk. Jo sort of knows so much about snapper that she sort of said, look, these will probably be your smaller models, so you're probably safe to use it. It really helps to go out with people that you know, and the people that know their stuff. And Jo certainly does. So, that's what I used anyway. Just thought I'd share that. And if you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the comments below, and I'll see what I can do. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.